I think when the thing is happening for the long time that you're cutting the vegetables that
Right.
will be conjugated with imparfait,
Yes.
and the one where the doorbell rang will be conjugated with passive composer.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly it. So basically, whenever we are describing an event in the past, अगर तुम कोई चीज imagine कर रहे हो in the past, and this could be a fictive thing as well, ठीक है? For example, if you want to write a story which is totally fictitious, nothing to do with real life, you are describing the actions in the past where other actions are also happening, ठीक है? So you have to sort of distinguish between those kind of actions. जो जो past ये actions है, you have to kind of tell, are they like qualifying the criteria of passive composite, or are they falling more in the bracket of imperfect? Yes. So the description of scene happens with imperfect. Ever, hamisha, all the time, it will happen with passive composite. For example, let's just take this example before we actually conjugate, learn to conjugate. Just know that this is imperfect for now. ठीक है? Elle regardait la télévision quand, soudain, elle a entendu un grand bruit. What does this mean? अब ये सेम इसमें फिट हो रहा है. She was watching the television. Okay, she was watching the television when suddenly she heard a big sound. Yes. So does this fit this action? Can Desika, you try and tell me what are the two actions that are in question here, and which one will be conjugated with which and why?
Regarde is the first action and attendu is second action.
Oui, très bien.
So she was watching. El regarde is imparfait
Mhm.
and attendu is passé composé.
Yes. So you are describing both the events of the past. Okay, this is not in the present. This is both in the past. But one is used to describe the scene. You see, this
Yeah.
is the description of the scene that is being done using imparfait. This is not done using passé composé. Elle a regardé la télévision. No, we won't write it.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that clear, everyone?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Okay, très bien. Last जो example है इसमें, il faisait ses devoirs quand son frère est arrivé. यहाँ पे, what are the two actions? Hussein, can you tell me the first action that is happening in this one? Il faisait ses devoirs
The
quand son...
first was conjugated with imperfect,
Oui,
and a arrive is with passive composite
oui.
with être.
And what are the meaning of this? Il faisait ses devoirs. They were basically his homework. Okay, he was doing his homework when his brother arrived. So both of the actions are in the past, but you're differentiating two events. What was the first event, Hussein?
Like they were doing the homework,
Yes, and
and the
that
brother arrived.
wait, his brother arrived. Can you tell me he was doing his homework? Which tense would you conjugate with it, and why?
Imperfect because it is continuously they are doing it in
Exactly.
the past.
Yes. Yes. And Ashwarya, what's the second action and why and how do we conjugate it?
E arrive is the second one,
We.
and it's conjugated with passive composer because the action has been completed.
The action has been completed when some other action is happening. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Très bien. Now that you know when to use imparfait versus passé composé, okay. Now let's jump into how to conjugate imparfait. And this is a very easy tense to remember because this has like next to no exceptions. Like when I say that, I mean it. Because this is one of the easiest and friendliest tense for French learners because once you learn it, you will learn it for life. Okay, and there are no like rarely any exceptions. There are exceptions, one or two, बहुत rare है. But if you learn these, हो गया था. Okay, you won't need to learn it again and again. So with that, let's jump into how to conjugate it. Do you guys remember the past present tense? How to conjugate the present tense? Because this is going to pick up the bits from that. This
Yes.
tense. Yes. Okay. All right. Let me ask you a question before I actually pose or tell you how to conjugate this. Let's do one verb each. Hussein, pick chante. Aishwarya, pick pense. And uh, Jessica, pick danse. You have to tell me the conjugation of new form, new present, new dash, new dash, new dash. Maybe you can write it in the chat first so that I know you know the correct spelling. Or you
No
can spell
short
out.
form.
Oui,
Wait.
and what's the spelling?
Uh, maybe ONS.
Yes. Did someone said something? Okay. Nous chantons. Aishwarya?
Nishant.
Oui, that's
No,
correct.
yeah.
That's correct. Nous pensons. Jessica?
Nous dansons.
Nous dansons. Yes. ठीक है. très bien. अब देखो जो imperfect tense है, this is exactly what you need to construct the imperfect का one part. And by one part I mean the first part है imperfect का, ठीक है? This comes from this conjugation. You have to know what's the new conjugation of a verb in present tense, ठीक है? And from this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna extract this bit, remove the ONS ending. So what you get and what is left is called a radical. This portion. What's the radical for you, Hussein? I mean for Shanton?
CHANT.
Yes. What's the radical for Ponson? Ashwarya?
PENS.
ENS. And for Danson? Jessica?
DANS.
DNS. Okay. So this is the first part of your imperfect conjugation. If you know present tense, you know half of imperfect already. ठीक है, to remove only the ONS ending. We'll learn some one or two exceptions जिसमें है E ending और वो सब. But for now, just know this. ठीक है, इसमें you add an ending. What do you need to add to this to complete the tense is an ending. Are we sort of on the same page? What we need to do?
Yes.
ठीक है, to remember what's can you tell me how many words are there in passive composite? How did we construct it? Using one word, using two words, three words, four words? How many? Passive composite के लिए क्या components होते हैं?
Two words. Avar,
Aboretre?
and the word. Auxiliary plus past principal.
Exactly. Yes. तो उसमें दो words थे. But imperfect is a simpler tense, as I said. ठीक है. It's only consistent of one word. बस जो one word है, उसके दो parts हम learn कर रहे हैं because it's the process to get to the conjugation. But in itself, the imperfect tense is just one word. You just saw it. Elfase. एक ही word है. Yes. Any doubts so far?
No.
No. Jessica?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Yeah. तो यहाँ पे now let's start to look at what's the ending. ठीक है. And endings are very very particular and very simple to learn. ठीक है. These are the endings. So basically, je के साथ let's read these out. Okay. Remember that AI is read as A. ठीक है. Let's start to read this before we actually learn the endings. Hussein, can you read the first two? Je and tu.
Je parle, tu parle.
Très bien. Aishwarya, the next two. Il, nous.
Il parlait, elle parlait, nous parlions.
Nous parlions. Yes, très bien. Jessica, last two, please.
Vous parliez. Elle parlait.
Il parlait. Okay, très bien. So देखो इसमें जो endings है, what do you guys notice about it? कुछ common दिख रहा है, मतलब कोई common pattern दिख रहा है? Like I'm just trying to help you memorize these. There's no pattern, just no. But कुछ तो दिख रहा होगा.
The thu ill के साथ we're putting AIT
Yes.
and only with no and who there's IONS as in the I.
Yes. So most of these conjugations they start with AI. Okay. And इसमें जो endings हैं, they don't resemble any present endings. These are very peculiar to imperfect. You just have to remember them. ठीक है, once you do it again, I said memory से बहुत जल्दी याद हो जाती हैं चीजें. But there will be confusion between these two. ये मैं अभी बता रहा हूँ. For your life, you will be confused between je parle with a T or with a S, because you will write a lot of time j'étais. This is a very very common mistake that people do, and this is an incorrect. This is the conjugation that I wrote. Does anyone know what it is for? Which verb? J'étais. Any past memories? इसके classes से? No.
Like you asking verb of it?
Which is the verb? Yeah.
Shit. I guess it's etre.
Etc. Yes. ठीक है. The correct conjugation is this one. ठीक है. With être. Why? Because the AIS ending has to be there with je. You have to just match these two. The subject and the imperfect ending are very, very, how do you say, peculiar about where they match. You can't put je and AIT. No. You can't put ILL and IONS. Okay. That would be like completely wrong. Only when these are the endings, these are the subjects, will you put the corresponding endings. Yes.
Je is no verb, right? As in no any like passing any passing compose or imparfait. Like you said, people make a mistake.
I said people make a mistake. I actually did not understand your question. The thing that I wrote here is
Yes,
not
je
the verb.
the blue one.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Yeah,
Why
okay.
was I saying this? Because people actually write this portion. Okay, and you will
Got it.
write it too. You will write it too. This just telling you beforehand. You will write it too. ये होता है confusion when to put AIT and when to put AIS. But try to remember j to में same conjugation लगता है AIS. Then as usual मतलब बहुत सारे इल के endings are in T. So this takes T. ठीक है. इसमें ONS है, but what are we doing? इसमें IONS लगा रहे हैं. Can someone tell me why are we putting an extra I in this?
To differentiate between the past and present.
Exactly, yes. Fabian. So if there were no I in this, what would this tense become?
Present
Present.
tense.
It will become present tense. कुछ तो अलग करना पड़ेगा ना इस tense को अलग बनाने के लिए. So what did they do? They just put an I. Simple. ठीक है. यहाँ पे भी there was no I between vous parliez. This would become vous parlez, which is actually what tense? Present tense.
Present tense.
ठीक है. And the same it doesn't apply here, but इसमें अगर AI नहीं होता ये वाली चीज में, ये AI नहीं होता, तो this would become parle, which is the same as present tense again. Yes, but don't do this everywhere. You can't do this and say this is the present tense of parle. No, it's not, because parle, je parle is PARLE. Okay. So I'm not saying कि this is the way to reach to the present tense if you know imperfect, because you can't do this circular thing. You need to know the present tense before you actually know the imperfect. Are we on the same page so far?
Yes.
Any doubts? Any questions?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Hussein? All clear?
No, yeah, yes.
All right. ठीक है. यहाँ पे let's discuss a few cases. As I said, ये few cases याद कर लो, इसके बाद life बहुत easy है. Do you guys remember there were some exceptions? And actually you know all of them already. Quick नया कुछ नहीं पढ़ा रहा हूँ मैं. Do you guys remember when we did? अभी तो मैंने आपको 3 verbs दिए थे and I chose them sort of deliberately. What is the conjugation of manger with nous in present? Is it mongo or is it monsieur? And why?
Monsieur.
With a
Because G followed by A, O or E is supposed to, oh, sorry, O or A, I guess. I.
Oui.
Yeah, O.
AOU.
Yeah, it sounds like go, g sound. When
Exactly.
there is E and I, it sounds like j sound.
अब यहाँ and hence we put an extra E to preserve the pronunciation between manger and its conjugation. Yes. So this exception, quote unquote exception, gets carried forward into imparfait as well. Why? Because this exception was in which tense, in which form of the present? Nu and who. You remember?
Pronunciate
Who and no.
also.
इनफैक्ट सिर्फ नू में था ये चीज, ठीक है? तो उसमें दिस ई एक्स्ट्रा जो आता है, नाउ जस्ट टोल्ड यू व्हाट यू नीड टू डू फॉर imperfect, you just need to remove the ons ending of the new form. So what radical will you get? Monge. Yes. So we are not reading an exception here. The exception was in present tense only. If you remember that correctly, अगर तो तुमने मोंगो लगा दिया उसको, तो तुम्हारे imperfect conjugation भी गलत होने वाला है, ठीक है? ऐश्वर्या?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. तो just know जो exception उसमें था, we just recalling that and saying, ठीक है, उसमें एक extra e लगता है before you actually start to conjugate imperfect, know that exception and put the appropriate ending. For example, how will I conjugate mange with je, mange from this, okay, and I will put ais je के साथ. Remember, je के साथ what is the ending? ais. Hussein, that is the face that we will make when जब हम खुद से conjugate करते हैं, ठीक है? तो but that will go with time. Don't worry.
So instead of like speaking it or pronunciating as monge, it's monge.
Exactly. Yes.
Hmm.
ठीक है? I wrote it down for you. Remember हमने PDF में ये rule पढ़े थे. G and C के साथ थे दोनों. ठीक है? The first group of word was I and E vowels, and the other group was AOU. जो पहला वाला, like just like Desika said just a few moments ago, what is the pronunciation for this?
For GI, you mean?
Yeah,
Is je.
je. ठीक है? Can you give me an example? You just did it. GI का कोई example है? There's a brand
Genie.
called
Givenchy. Yeah.
Givenchy.
Givenchy. ठीक है?
Givenchy.
So this is called as Givenchy. Don't call it as Givenchy. No, they'll get very mad about it. Then manger we already saw. So mange is not monge, it's manger. Then can you give me example of GA? What's the pronunciation of GA?
Gato.
Go.
I heard
Gato.
that. Oui, that's an example. Yes. So this is pronounced as G. Okay. And just as Desika said, we can take an example of a gato. Okay. Gato is what?
Cake.
Cake.
Okay. Yes. And then again with GO, you can find examples. For example, gute. Gute means to taste something, and then GU as well. You can find something. Then what we have is the same rule, a very similar rule in C. What is the pronunciation of CI and CE?
S.
S. Yes, très bien. And for CAOU?
K.
Can you repeat that, Jessica?
K. K.
K. Okay. So, Aishwarya, give me an example of CI or CE.
Sank.
Sank. Très bien. Any other example from the other group? CA, CO, CU?
Celui.
Kado.
Celui. इस ग्रुप का ओके, ठीक है? कादो, très bien. तो remember this is pronounced as k. बस इतना ही था इसमें. And why was I discussing this? Was because of these exceptions जो इसमें carry forward होते हैं. Remember we had say the exceptions. What was it? This was the new
So
form.
to change the sound of the C when when
Mhm.
it's before A or U, we use this accent sedi
Wait.
to change the sound.
So we used to use the accent सेदी. अब now remember this. ये हमने किया. इसका imperfect का first part कैसे निकलेगा? This is the new conjugation for common से जो मैंने blue में लिखा है सामने. Yes. Aishwarya, how will
Yeah.
you form the first part of the imperfect?
By removing the ONS.
By removing the ONS. Hussein, how will you form the lateral part of
Adding
this?
AIS if it's J
No,
and
it's
other
new right now. It's new. What will you add?
IONS.
IONS. अब देखो इसमें प्रॉब्लम हो गई छोटी सी. हमने डबल फिक्स कर दिया इसको. बाय डबल फिक्स आई मीन देखो CI और CE which what is the pronunciation of CI and CE?
So,
So
So,
what was the pronunciation of common set? Yeah, the C in common set. It's so again, right?
uh,
So even if we don't have this C, say the, it will still sound the same. Comment sion. It won't be comment kion. Yes. So we
yes.
actually don't need this city in imparfait. So this is the exception. That we although put this comment son may city because there was a O after it, we remove it in imparfait because it's not needed. Yes. Is there a
Yes.
Jessica?
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because already with C and I, the pronunciation is so only.
Yeah, exactly. And C say D was put to actually help us. Okay,
Hmm.
now we not don't need itself. We're not posting it. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let me discuss this part and then we're gonna move to let me discuss this part. Imperfect versus passive composite. So now the question is to make your life easier, there's a group of words, there is a group of verbs to be precise, which are more often than not conjugated in imperfect. If you remember those, your life will be sort of easier. You might have to think of the timeline that works. Okay. For example, just think of these. You don't need to remember this rule at all. If you know the timeline method. Just give me a moment. Yes. So let's take a verb out of this list. Let's take croire. What does this croire means? It's written right next in the bracket. To believe. Okay. Now just remember or just think of it with the help of the timeline method that we learned. If I think of croire in the past, can I think of it as a limited passé composé के तो तीन criteria हैं. Can I fit it into that? Past, yes. Terminated, maybe. I stopped believing something. Okay, it's terminated. Was it limited though? Was my belief in something? Can my belief in something be limited? Like I started believing in God. Right at that instant, I stopped believing. Is that the case with normal human beings?
No.
No, right? So there are verbs like this, and they've listed them out for your ease. But if you think of it from the timeline perspective, you won't actually need to remember this list at all. Okay, just think logically. Savoir, the same verb. I knew something. Do I stop to know something if, like, for a moment? Or do I know something in just like for an instance? There is a possibility, and I'll tell you a possibility. Why? Um, just say, for example, when he hit uh, when he hit the six, I knew that what the team is going to win. For example, when he hit this six, I knew at that instance that India is going to win. ठीक है. Other cases, जो बाकी normal cases होते हैं साहुआ के, we generally know something for a very long period of time. Hence, it doesn't fit the second criteria, and I think this is going to be your most frequent failure with this test. Okay, so it does not fit the passive composite. It will fit imperfect. Okay, very rarely you will conjugate the savoir just in the conjugation that I just said. And what's the conjugation for savoir in passive composite? Like, for example, if I want to conjugate it with this, do you guys remember what's the past participle of savoir? It's an irregular one, and
Sash.
it's
SAIS. See?
SAIT. No, that's a good guess, logical one, but no, it's an irregular verb. Jessica, any guesses?
No idea actually.
Few.
Exactly, yes, it's called su.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
The j'ai su this is not something that you're gonna use for a lot of use cases. In fact, बहुत rarely होगा तुम JSU बोलोगे. Most cases में what you will use is just survey. ठीक है? So this is what they're teaching in this part of the book. They're saying कि there are use cases. ठीक है? This case में more often we use the imperfect than passive composite. Yes.
But this can be used as passive composer also, right?
It can be, yes. It can be. I'm not saying it cannot be, but most use cases में you
Like
will
I
use
believed you for a second. So in this sentence,
yes, you could maybe say the like if you want to just pick on French tenses, yes, why not? Maybe you can make a passive composite example for all of these. In fact, être is commonly used in with passive composite, and we will learn when. But for most use cases, you use imperfect. ठीक है? Yes, no. तो यहाँ पे देखो, il semblait déprimer. Do you remember what is the past event that is being discussed in this? हमने 3-4 use cases पढ़े थे for imperfect. What was it? First one was state of mind.
Yes.
And Hussein, that those are for distinguishing whether we need avoir or être in passive composite. I was discussing the use cases of imperfect. What are those?
Oh.
Just tell me one each.
Describing a state of mind.
Describing a state of mind, that's one. Okay, Desika, you go next and tell me one other.
To explain the continuous action in the past tense.
Yes, and both of these use cases actually cover a lot of this. Okay, and the third one is actually which one? The description of scenes in the past. Hussein, you understood? The difference to पहले तुम बोल रहे थे versus what we are talking about. Yes or no?
Yes.
So ये जो first sentence है, what criteria does it fit out of those three use cases? It's a state of mind, it's a description of a past event, or
The
it's
first one, state of mind.
a state of mind. He was looking to me as a little sad or depressed, which is depressed. Like depressed is not something you can use just like this, but il semblait déprimé. Is looking low, gloomy. Okay? So we don't literally translate it as depressed. Yes? Hussein? And the
Yes,
next
yes.
sentence, can you read the next sentence? Anyone? Hussein, can you read it?
Tout à coup, il a semblé comprendre la situation.
Yes, just as you said, जो तुमने अभी just बोला था कि we can make situations where that realization happens for a moment and then it goes away. And then in that use case, we will use what? Passive composite. So if you know the use case in your head of that verb, तुम उसको कैसे use करना चाह रहे हो, and if you approach this conjugation with the timeline method, you actually don't need to remember this as a rule. ठीक है? If I want to talk about il semblait déprimé, definitely I'm going to use what? Imperfect. Yes, no?
Yes.
And the second case, just as I said, right at that moment when India hit a 6, he knew that India is going to win. Like that was an instant, and you can invent cases like this where the use case cannot be imperfect, it has to be passive composite. Yes. So can you, Ashwarya, tell me the meaning of the second one? You can read the translation if needed. Tutaku is suddenly. Okay.
Suddenly, he seemed to understand the situation.
And for example, just as we talked about India making a 6 at the end moment, suddenly he started to understand the situation. Maybe there was just one hint that someone got. Okay. At that very moment, he started to understand the situation. Yes. Yes, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the second set of, in fact, यहाँ पे भी आ गया Jésus. Je savais qu'il avait raison. Do you guys remember this expression, avoir raison? This doesn't mean avoir, have a raisin or grape.
Is it similar to our Bezwanda?
Maybe it's similar, but the only similarity is that they both have upward, but nothing similar in meaning. Any guesses?
I think the meaning is written.
Yeah, you can just read it if that's smart. Okay. So basically, this means you are right. You have a right. Like literally, they're saying you have the right, not literally the right to do something, but it means you are right in doing something or saying something. Okay. So if I want to say in the past he was right, so I would use je savais qu'il avait raison. He wasn't just right for a moment. He was right for a long period of time. And hence again it fails the criteria for limited for passive composite. Hence we will use imparfait, not passive composite. Yes. I will not use the second example. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया था जीसू कौन से केस में यूज होगा. So ये सारी कहानी जो मैंने पढ़ा है इसका मतलब बस यही है. If you approach this tense writing with the timeline method, you don't need to learn a lot of use cases जो ये अलग अलग बता रखे हैं. If you approach it logically तो तुम्हें समझ में आ जाएगा. Yes. टाइमलाइन मेथड समझ में आ गया. 3 यूज केसेस समझ में आ गए. कॉन्जुगेशन के एंडिंग पता लग गए. आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि याद हो गए, पता लग गए. नाउ विद दिस आई विल क्या बोलते हैं, देयर इज नो, आई विल इन फैक्ट डिस्कस and practice with you the imperfect endings. I've made just a moment. I made a sheet in my bus. I think I shared it with you. I'm not really sure. Just give me a moment. You guys able to see both screens abhi? Just want to show you
एक
one.
ही दिख रही है. I can only see one.
ठीक है, this is the main one that I want to show you. ठीक है, तो I've made a template for you. I'll share this with you. So there are two templates, template 1 and 2. The first template is for the tenses that you've already done, most of them. आज हम परफॉर्म कर चुके हैं. ठीक है, तो what this is basically is you can print it if you want. If you were like really serious about learning this, you should do this. What this contains is first a box for general rule of conjugations. जैसे you make notes ना, छोटे छोटे notes, you have to write present er conjugation कैसे करते हैं, like in very short words, and then the same for all of these. जैसे पास से रेसवा में you have to just put veneer plus the plus infinitive here in this box. And that's how you conjugate. The general rule is this, but to specify you have to, let's say if for example there are exceptions like être. Okay, how will you conjugate être with all of these in le présent? This is the template. You can use this if you want, but today what we're gonna do is we're gonna just do this line of this imperfect portion of this. Okay, so this template exists in the tracker that we have. I will add this. In fact, it doesn't for the moment. You can use this right now. Let's practice this one. Imperfect. You know the general rule of imperfect. What is the general rule? We take the new form of present. What do we do to it? Jessica?
Remove the
Take a radical and add IONS to it.
Yes, sort of correct. Aishwarya, can you sort of help us with what does it mean by taking a radical?
Yeah, we remove the ONS from the new form and then take the radical.
And then take the radical, okay. And radical is basically the stem. Okay, it's also called the stem. Hussein, what do we do to the word after that?
Conjugate it.
Sorry. Yeah, we conjugate it. Yes. But what do we add to this stem?
Yeah, IONS.
Depending on which, you don't always add it. Why यहाँ पे nu लिखा है? Don't get confused कि हमेशा हम nu की वजह से IONS ही add करेंगे. This nu is just get the stem. ठीक है, उसके बाद nu का काम खत्म हो गया. This new subject has nothing to do with the actual subject जो आपके sentence में है. It could be कि आपका sentence में जो actual subject है it's je. But हम nu को क्यों refer कर रहे हैं? Because we want to get the conjugation of it for this tense. Yes. So we don't always add IONS. Okay, we add an appropriate ending. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And you can write the ending if you're like feeling very ambitious. AIS, AIT, blah blah blah. ठीक है, so this is what you need to write in this box. Now let's conjugate imperfect in ऐत्र. This doesn't follow. So ये जो conjugation है, एक तो one you have to remember this. मतलब पूरे टेंस में से कुछ और याद करो ना करो, ऐत्र का conjugation तुम्हें आना चाहिए, because this is the most frequently used conjugation for everything. तुम कुछ भी डिस्क्राइब करोगे खुद के बारे में, you have to know j'étais, I was, he was. तो ऐत्र का conjugation तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए in imperfect. Yes. What is it? It's not based on any rules. It's any regular tense. Let's just learn it. It's ETAIS. J'étais, and hence I will write it as this. Yes. दिख रहा है ना ये? छोटा तो नहीं है?
नहीं.
ठीक है. To, Aishwarya, can you tell us what's the conjugation for to?
ETAIS.
Yes. ठीक है. Hussein, what's the conjugation with LLO? The endings will look similar. ठीक है.
ILAT AIT.
Do you guys remember what is the conjugation for ऐत्र with nu in present?
It's new song.
स्नू सॉन्ग. ठीक है. अब आइडियली इस केस में तो ओएनएस है ही नहीं रिमूव करने के लिए, तो रेडिकल कहाँ से लाएंगे? यस. तो ये एक्चुअली यूज ही नहीं करना होता हमें. दिस इज द स्टार्टिंग रेडिकल ईटी. यस. ईटी के बीच में वी ऐड द अप्रोप्रिएट एंडिंग्स. यस. इज दिस क्लियर? Jessica,
Yes.
what's the conjugation then?
Nous étions.
Étions. Yes. Aishwarya, the root one.
Who's ATA? ETIEZ.
Very good. And Hussein, the last one. The ending is similar. Same ही है, कुछ चेंज नहीं होगा इसमें. ठीक है.
Okay. AIT. AIENT.
ENT. ठीक है. And let's read this out so that you are not confused how to read this. Hussein, can you read the first two?
जेते तुएते.
पहला वाला वापस पढ़ो.
जेते
हाँ. Yes.
तुएते.
ठीक है. जेते नो जेते. ठीक है. जेते जो तुमने पढ़ा है ना, एक्चुअली वो पास से कंपोज है. जेते is this. If you pronounce it that, लोग ये समझेंगे. जेते. This is past composite. J'étais is single word. Tu étais. Aishwarya, the next two, please. Il.
Yes. Il était, elle était,
Oui.
nous étions.
Nous étions. ठीक है.
Nous
याद रखना.
étions. Yeah.
अब यहाँ इसमें you have to put the liaison between S and E. Okay. Then, Jessica, the next two.
Vous étiez.
Oui.
Ils étaient, elles étaient.
Yes, you have to remember this is not एक तो कुछ ऐसा मत पढ़ देना इसको. This is simply the same pronunciation as il, elle, je, tu. Étaient. Simply. Ils étaient, elles étaient. So how will I differentiate between if the conjugation is same, इसमें, if the pronunciation is same, sorry, how will I conjugate between these two use cases? बताओ. मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Yeah, yes, liaison. पहले वाले केस में I'll just say il était, elle était. Second case में I'll say ils étaient, elles étaient. Aishwarya, that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Can you read the first one and the second one together?
Il était, elle était, ils étaient, elles étaient.
Yes. Hussein, can you read this too?
Elle était, ils étaient, elles étaient.
Jessica? Jessica, is there? Okay. We'll skip it. But just remember, कुछ और याद ना करो. वापस से बोल रहा हूँ. You have to remember this conjugation. ठीक है. Let's do one more important one. उसके बाद I'll do maybe one more and then we'll skip this. उसके बाद you can do this yourself. Avoir. Do you guys know? देखो एंडिंग इसकी सेम होने वाली है. AIS, AIS, AIT जो तुमने याद कर लिया है. इसका जो what is the conjugation of avoir with nu?
Nous avons.
Nous avons. And if, in fact, this is a rule, I don't know, this fits. So, what will be the conjugation for am parfait? Hussein, can you start with je?
J'avais.
J'avais. Okay, j'avais with an AIS ending. Aishwarya, the next one.
Tu avais. Avais.
Desika, is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, can
Sorry,
you
I
conjugate?
lost my connection in between.
No worries. Can you
So,
conjugate LL with
away
with
with T ending.
T ending? Yeah. No. Hussein,
Nous avions.
spelling
IONS.
IONS. You, Aishwarya.
Vous aviez. Aviz.
Yeah, and Desika, last one.
Uh, away with a ENT in the end.
We ENT. It's an AINT ending. Okay, pura. Can you read these two? Let's read these two as well. Okay. Aishwarya, start with this. Just
Il avait. Okay.
who is it?
Elle avait. Ils
This.
avaient. Elles avaient.
Okay, so yeah. Desika, can you read this as well?
Il avait, elle avait, ils avaient, elles avaient.
Hussein.
Il avait, elle avait, ils avaient, elles avaient.
यस अब देखो तुम लोगों को ना ये बहुत बोरिंग लग रहा होगा लाइक लाइक स्ट्रेसिंग ऑन द फैक्ट कि प्रोनाउंस करो और मत करो ठीक है बट नो दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इजीएस्ट टेंस टू रिमेंबर अगर अभी अच्छे से याद कर लोगे एंड दिस विल हैपन ओनली इफ यू रिपीटेडली लर्न द कॉन्जुगेशंस फॉर अ फ्यू वर्ड्स ठीक है तब दिमाग में बैठेंगे वरना नहीं बैठेंगे तो लेट्स जस्ट डू वन मोर एंड देन विल स्टॉप बाकी तुम खुद से कर सकते हो आई पुट अ लॉट ऑफ वर्ब्स हियर यू कैन चेंज द वर्ब्स देखिए से ये का कॉपी कर रखा मैंने ठीक है तो यू कैन चेंज द वर्ब एंड डू इट योरसेल्फ बट फेयर करते हैं फटाफट से व्हाट्स द conjugation with no in present faisons this is not pronounced as aison ठीक है it's called faisons it's an exception in pronunciation this is called nous faisons faisons it's not faisons don't say it as faisons yes so what is the ons से पहले radical
Fait.
FAIS. So FAIS, what will be the conjugation? Let's start with Aishwarya this time. अलग अलग हो जाएंगे.
I think this is the conjugation, right?
Wait, what's the conjugation? For
But
fair. It's
A,
not this. So
Je
what's
faisais,
yes, it's je
oh
faisais.
yes, okay, faisait.
Why
Yes.
is it yes?
AIS.
Yes, that's the conjugation for imperfect. Why is it not je fais? Aishwarya?
It's the present tense.
Yes, it's the present tense. ठीक है? You remember? Je fais is
Yes.
nothing but the present tense. I am doing something. So you have to differentiate it from the present or we will add these endings. Hussein, can you do this one?
Tu faisais. Same.
Faisais, ठीक है? With S or T?
S.
Yes. Desika, the next one, NL.
il, elle faisait, T in the ending.
Indian name. Who did know last time was a remote country? Theoric both have to do 1 inch.
Sorry?
जिसने नो नहीं किया है वो एक बार नो बोल दो प्लीज जस्ट वांट टू मेक श्योर एवरीबॉडी नोस एवरीथिंग Hussein just read this out what will be
Nous faisions.
Zion ठीक है Desika read this one
Vous faisiez.
yeah. And Aishwarya will last one
Ils faisait. No.
so
Elles faisait.
yes देखो इन सबका pronunciation it sounds like it should be phase it's not yeah just as I told you nu का pronunciation is not faison it's faison the same way we will pronounce this as faisait tu faisais elle faisait nous faisions vous faisiez and elle faisait yes
This means I had, we had, you had.
this is fair
Fair.
I used to make, like for example, I used to make dinner before class every week.
Oh,
Exam.
yes. Make,
Yes.
okay.
So first say, are we clear on the conjugations now? I'm perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yes.
Okay, we have some time. So let me see if there's anything else to be covered in the PDF. Yes, in fact, there's one more small thing that I need to cover. Sure. Just a moment. So I will share this template with you guys in the chat. Try करना इसका कॉपी जो है यूज कर लो ये वाला जो कॉपी है ना इसका कॉपी बना के यूज कर लेना you can duplicate it like this by right clicking and clicking on duplicate this will create a copy of this ये कॉपी बन गया अपना वाला कॉपी एडिट कर लेना ठीक है are you guys seeing the tablets here?
Yes.
So if you come to the book इसमें दो चार portions है जो important नहीं है and it's also important to know which portions are not important so you don't learn the फालतू things अपना time इसमें waste मत करना. One is this Dipui wala case they've mentioned. I've never seen it used until now. आज तक मैंने एक भी sentence नहीं देखा इसके साथ. I don't know why do this to beginners. So just skip it all together. Okay, they've said we use Dipui के साथ am parfait blah 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 करने दो. यहाँ पे they've mentioned am parfait with special constructions. Again, this is used but not as frequent. So तुम beginner level पे इसको छोड़ सकते हो. The actual use cases जो हम करने वाले हैं which is these two. And इसमें से भी this one is more important, the second one. ठीक है, the first use case is simpler. फटाफट बता देता हूँ. We when we want to say, याद है बचपन में हम करते थे imaginative essays लिखने में. If I were the president of India,
Yes.
right? So if I were the president of India, we used to write like this: I were, right? If I were, that's past imperfect tense, sort of. Yes, if I'm correct. Yeah. So the same way in French, we use si seulement and then a sentence if we are to express the same thing. Si seulement j'étais le président de l'Inde. If only I were the president of India. This is basically used to express a wish or a regret. If I were blah blah blah, if he were blah blah blah. If you want to say that, you use si seulement plus imparfait. ठीक है तो there are two portions to this. You don't have to remember this, just saying अभी इसको देख लो एक बार कि ऐसा कुछ exist करता है फिर it's not as important. जो अगला portion है that is more important and let's move to this one. Just ये construction समझ में आ गया? There's two portion to this. C Selma and then you have to with the subject. This is the subject. You have to conjugate the subject with imparfait if you want to express wishes. Yes, this is fixed. C Selma, don't change it. ठीक है? For example, I don't know. Just read one of these. Aishwarya, can you read the second one?
The C Salmo one.
Wait. Second.
C Salmo el était à l'heure.
Elle était à l'heure. If only she were on time, I could start the lesson on time. For example, ठीक है? Si seulement ils habitaient plus près. This one. This is a regret. यहाँ पे I'm not expressing any wish. I'm just regretting it. You शायद पास नहीं रहती है. If only she were closer. ठीक है? You guys clear on the use case?
Yes.
Jessica? You can silent?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, carry on. Let's move on to this one, which is actually the more important, most important one. Guys, remember अभी मैंने बोला था कि हमें पास से रेसों का यूज आएगा लास्ट में. This is where it is. ठीक है. अब देखो. If you know the timeline method ना, this is like a breeze for you guys. अभी हमने किया था पास से रेसों किसका recent past होता है? Like in the timeline.
Present.
Yes.
Present
In the
is
time.
past.
Present का just past is पास से रेसों. Yes. But imagine हम एक पास्ट इवेंट डिस्क्राइब कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कल 8 बजे से जस्ट पहले. इज इट प्रेजेंट का just past? Yes or no?
No, it's past ka just past.
Past का just past. ठीक है. So if you have again the timeline method का importance and plotting them on a timeline becomes very important right now. 8 बजे कल उसका just past. ठीक है. Is what I'm interested in. 8 बजे से just पहले मेरा इंटरनेट बंद हो गया. For example. ठीक है. तो you have to conjugate this with what tense? Can you use passé récent with this? Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
I guess it's no because it
But
happened yesterday.
as in present वाले में नहीं कर सकते हैं, but we are since we're talking about past, so then past
हाँ.
वाले में करेंगे.
ठीक है. Yes. So the answer is yes and no. ठीक है. Yes, we can use it, but not in the same way. No, we can't use it the same way. ठीक है. We have to differentiate it from the past. If we say, I will use some other example. Elle vient de téléphoner, for example. Elle vient de téléphoner. This means what? She just called. ठीक है. अब if I say कल 8 बजे से पहले she just called, it won't make sense. If I say hier, avant 8 heures, juste avant 8 heures, elle a appelé, elle vient de téléphoner. For example, can I say that? It won't make sense. ठीक है? Why? Because the use case for immediate past is the present tense reference. The reference has to be present tense. Again, you guys clear on this? Use case समझ में आ गया तो you will be good to go with the conjugation. Conjugation is very easy. Yes, no?
Yes.
I have a question.
Oui. Vas-y.
So when we're using passé récent, that's only when there's a present context.
Exactly, yes. If,
Okay.
for example, right now I did something,
Hmm.
अभी से कुछ हुआ, yes, then only I will use passé récent. ठीक है?
Okay.
But if you are
With
describing,
imparfait, when do we use then imparfait?
नहीं, अभी imperfect तो शुरू ही नहीं किया हमने discuss.
अच्छा, okay,
ठीक है?
ठीक है.
तो present tense से जब reference लेता हूँ मैं, I will only take help of passé récent, which is conjugated with venir का present tense. You remember?
Yeah, yes.
Il vient de faire quelque chose. Elle vient de. उसके present tense में याद है? venir के je, let's write it फटाफट. याद कर लो. तब लिख रहा हूँ. Let's start with Hussein. What is the conjugation with je? Sorry भाई.
Je viens, tu viens.
Je viens with spelling बता दो फटाफट. End में क्या है? ऐसे टी है क्या है या नहीं है कुछ भी? तो सही लिखा है.
Yes.
S
नहीं, that's it.
लिख रहा है भाई. Confuse कर रहा था. ठीक है. ऐश्वर्या, the next two please.
Il vient, elle vient with a T.
And the ilal के साथ क्या है? Same है.
Vienne.
Spelling?
Viennent.
Bien, yes. And Desika, the last one, no.
No, when no.
Yes.
ONS, vous venez. Is it?
Yes. But इसमें एक छोटा सा correction है, the pronunciation. I actually gave you these deliberately. Okay, it's vano, vane. You try to note this down because you have the habit of saying this. Vane, vano, vano, vano है vane. ठीक है? Simply. अब now that you know, ये जो पहला वाला sentence है यहाँ पे, it's actually from which reference? Because it's the present tense of venir. It has to be from the present tense का reference. Yes. Just to make it, वो जो 8 बजे वाला केस है, अगर उसको तुम्हें conjugate करना है, what you will do is simply conjugate venire नाम parfait. ठीक है? Now let's do the imperfect conjugation before we actually learn this. अभी जस्ट देखा तुमने nu का present conjugation यानी nu के साथ क्या है? venir का VENONS. Yes, no.
Yes.
तो उसका radical क्या होगा?
ONS.
Radical.
हटा के VN.
Good save. ठीक है. VEN है bien. तो Desika, what's the first conjugation? Je के साथ. Not asking Hussein.
Je venais.
Which spelling? Which what are the spelling?
AIS.
AIS. Okay, AIS. And then Aishwarya, what's the second one? Two के साथ?
Vane. VENAIS.
अब यहाँ LL के साथ? तुम ही बता दो.
Vane. VENAIT.
Yes. Hussein, what is the conjugation of no?
No, Veno.
Vano.
IONS.
You won't read it as Vano. Why? Present tense में क्या conjugation है? उसका pronunciation is Vano. You will
Vano.
कुछ तो differentiate करोगे. तो उसको कैसे बोलोगे? Vanio.
Vanio. Okay.
ठीक है. Then वो के साथ?
Vanie.
Vanie. है भैया. ठीक है. अभी यही यूज कर रहा है वो. देखो ये वाला जो conjugation है वने with L, ये उठा के उसने यहाँ रख दिया. ठीक है. El Vaned faire quelque chose. सेम चीज है, जस्ट पास्ट में की है, तो हम यहाँ पे हम पास यूज करेंगे. ठीक है. अब द प्रॉब्लम इज हम यहाँ पे एक और चीज डिस्क्राइब करते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि हमें बताना है भाई कब. ठीक है. पास्ट. हाँ बोल सकते हो. ठीक है. इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दो कि हम पास्ट से कंपोजिट यूज करें. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल
is a passive composite, right?
कैन यू रिपीट दैट जैसिका?
Il est entre.
अभी
Yeah, it's passive composite, right?
that is passive composite, but I'm saying it's not necessary for us to put passive composite in a sentence with immediate past in the past. ठीक है. Just avant with for example जो मैंने example लिया था just 8 बजे से पहले hier. ठीक है. अब elle venait de téléphone. You can use this. हमने बस एक पास्ट का रेफरेंस देना है. पास्ट का रेफरेंस तुम पासिव कंपोजिट से दे सकते हो या एक स्पेसिफिक इवेंट से दे सकते हो. फॉर एग्जांपल Noël l'année dernière. At Christmas last year, I almost fell into the river, for example. You can say that. Okay, so you can use this. Just saying, at Christmas, at midnight on Christmas, like you have to be very precise when you're describing that action in the past. À minuit, I almost fell in the river. You can use. यहाँ पे you can write this sentence with imperfect. I almost fell in the river. का translation. Yes. Any questions? Okay, seem bored. So I will just stop using this. Just wanted to tell you.
I think it's a very thin line here.
Thin line between?
Passive composite and imperfect.
Yes, maybe. I will learn. कैसे पता चलेगा? Thin को thick कैसे करना है फिर? You will learn using stories. Okay? And that's what we're gonna do now. वापस चलते हैं story पे. This is the last time I think we're gonna do the story. इसके बाद I'll move you to tougher things and I'll in fact show you. Screen दिख रही है? I think you guys are seeing the screen, full screen.
Yes.
Abhi I'm just sharing this for your reference. 1 minute के लिए. I actually had the plan to cover directions and places and trends, but never mind. अगले हफ्ते कर लेंगे. ठीक है. So I wanted to cover these things. Places in a. Guys able to see the screen? So I'm hold on. Yeah. So I want to cover. I will cover this next time. The means of transport and I have removed like यहाँ पे जो तुम्हें खाली जगह दिख रही है इसमें से मैंने सारे फालतू वाले हटा दिए हैं. तुम्हें नहीं याद करना है, कंफ्यूज करना नहीं है मेरे को तुम्हें. ठीक है. इजी वाले जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वो रखे हैं. I will. It will be good if you guys go through this once. एक बार फोटो देख के बस try to relate what is it. नहीं समझ में आएगा तो we will discuss this formally in the class. ठीक है. इसके साथ we will cover directions. As I told you, I think Aishwarya was present in that class. We are sort of moving into survival trends now. इस उससे survival trends का मतलब है if you are left alone in France in a gully, how will you find your way? ठीक है. उसके लिए तुम्हें 2 चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. What are those 2 चीजें? कहाँ जाना है इन फ्रेंच ऑफ कोर्स, ठीक है। अगर आपको हॉस्पिटल जाना है तो आपको हॉस्पिटल बोलना आना चाहिए। हॉस्पिटल क्या होता है? हॉस्पिटल, ठीक है। तो उसके लिए हमें पहले पढ़ना है व्हाट आर द प्लेसेस इन द व्हील, व्हाट आर द प्लेसेस इन द व्हील, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड टू गेट टू नो कहाँ जाना है, डायरेक्शन किस डायरेक्शन में जाना है, एंड देन कैसे जाना है, दैट्स आल्सो कवर्ड। कैसे मतलब कौन सा मीन्स यूज करना है तुम्हें। ऑफ कोर्स यू वोंट टेक द बातो और द हेलीकॉप्टर और द एवियन, बट जस्ट देयर फॉर रेफरेंस, ठीक है। तो कैमियो देखा था तुमने लास्ट क्लास में, रिमेंबर कैमियो?
Yes,
ठीक है।
the
तो
truck.
the truck, very nice, and we are going to read about the truck more, ठीक है। तो we will also learn, ये मैंने तुम लोगों की फोटो बनाई है, if you don't mind, हम ये गेम भी खेलेंगे, ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वीक करते हैं, बट फॉर नाउ let me quickly jump and finish the story. Next week I hope you will be present. In fact, let's do one thing, I'll try। कल का क्लास क्योंकि मिस हुआ था, I said uh, that I will not take class on the next weekend. Is it okay? Like, did you guys make any plans on the next weekend already? Is it okay if I take one class? I'm not sure. I will still let you know closer to the date, but I might take.
Or also, if everybody are free, we can do it in the weekday also.
Actually, मेरा क्लास होता है यार 8 से 10 weekends पे, so that will be done in January, but तब तक मैं नहीं ले सकता weekdays पे classes. Yeah. And that's very interesting, by the way. The Bombay classes, they're very interesting. If you get to learn to like reach C1, C2 level, go for Alliance Francaise de Bombay as well. Try them. They're nice. Okay. Okay. Let's start from a bit of revision. What was happening in the last row? You guys remember? Who reached where? I don't know if everyone was present in the last class, but I think most of you were. So
I remember that. Oh, I forgot the character name though.
Daniel,
Yeah, Daniel got into a truck,
we,
and he found someone in the truck and all who's
yes,
old.
we, yeah, and that's the story sort of ends in they reaching where, them reaching where,
Arnold's door.
Arnold's door, right? Yeah. So they reach. So basically the story was Daniel discovers कि वो जो बूढ़ा आदमी है, just like you said, Desika, the old man, he's actually the father of Arnold. Okay, and they reach which city, Aishwarya?
And Nice.
They were in Nice. They truck में
Oh,
बैठ के
sorry, Marseille.
they came back to Marseille now. Okay, and they're knocking on the door of Arnold का
Arnold.
apartment. Okay, यहाँ पे लम्मा demon ils sont, and if you remember, there was no one who answered the door. They don't know where they are. ठीक है, अब क्या करते हैं वो लोग? Let's read this. Hussein, can you start? Read it here. Really? Sorry to put you through this.
They prove la charger, the more telephone potable, the more sec ado,
Très bien.
potond
Pendant
pendant a quart de heure, la
quart,
batterie de
oui, un quart d'heure,
quart de la batterie de mon téléphone portable se charge. C'est pour off, offin apple masse. Le téléphone saute trois fou joli répondre. Daniel offin j'ai été très inquiet.
j'étais,
Salut, j'étais.
oui, पढ़ो आगे पूरा पढ़ दो.
J'ai été très inquiet. Salut Julie, ça va? Je suis avec un homme de l'appartement de Arnaud. Un oui, c'est une longue histoire,
Longue histoire.
longue histoire. Via l'appartement Julie et où?
Tu es où? Tu es
Tu
où?
es où? Tu es
ठीक है,
où?
तो bien. let's translate it. Je trouve le chargeur de mon téléphone portable dans mon sac à dos. ठीक है यहाँ पे
He found a charger for his telephone, like his mobile, inside a bag. I don't know what is ado means.
do you guys know what is a do? DOS?
No idea.
ऐश्वर्या?
Nope.
It's a body part. ठीक है ये जो हमारा बैग होता है it's called do. ठीक है तो फ्रेंच में there are two kinds of bag, sac à main, and they say it like this, just like in English handbag and pittu bag. I don't know how to, we don't say bag. Maybe it because confusing इसलिए नहीं बोलते बट फ्रेंच में दोनों बैग्स का अलग अलग नाम होता है. sac à main हाथ में पकड़ने वाला, sac à dos पीछे पहनने वाला. ठीक है तो dans mon sac à dos I found the what, the charger of the telephone portable. pendant un quart d'heure you guys remember हमने टाइम पढ़ा था. quart d'heure क्या होता है? If you guys were there, I don't know if everyone was there.
Quarter to?
It's a quarter, ठीक है quart d'heure. For 1/4 of the hour, okay, la batterie de mon téléphone se recharge. The battery of the telephone, what happens to it? It charges. It charges
Charges.
itself. ठीक है तो 15 minutes के लिए मेरी बैटरी चार्ज हो रही थी फोन की. Je peux enfin, Hussein, this is je peux enfin.
Jaipur.
ठीक है appeler ma soeur. अब now that his phone is switched on, तो सारी कहानी क्यों नहीं हो पा रही थी? Why? Because his phone was off. Remember? नहीं रिस्पॉन्स किया था बट उसका फोन ऑफ था तो कुछ कर नहीं पा रहा था. तो je peux enfin appeler ma soeur. बोल रहा फाइनली अपना बहन को फोन कर सकता हूँ. Yes. Aishwarya, what's the translation of the next sentence? Le téléphone sonne 3 fois. Hussein, fois.
I think it lights itself for 3 something. No.
He just called his sister. Just
Yes.
try to get it from the context. अभी वो call कर रहा है.
So he calls his sister for 3 times. No.
Le téléphone sonne 3 fois. Sonne. What is sonne?
Rings.
Rank.
Rings. Yes, it rings for 3 times. Trum, 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 trum. In that. And then क्या हुआ?
Julie responds.
Julie responds. Très bien. Daniel, enfin, j'étais très inquiète. J'étais très inquiète. What's the tense being used here?
I am very worried. I was very worried.
I was very worried. So this is which application of the imperfect? Aishwarya, you know this.
Yes, description of a state of mind.
Très bien. Description of a state of mind in the past. Okay. I'm not worried right now. I was worried in the past. And I was not worried for an instant. Okay. And I was worried for a long time. Hence I use which tense? Imperfect. Okay. J'étais très inquiète. Remember what was the expression you used with inquiète? Don't worry. How will you say that in French?
Inquiet.
Inquiet pa, sorry, yeah.
That's
I'm
a way.
confused.
Ne t'inquiète pas, ठीक है? You can also say t'inquiète simply, वो slang है, but don't use it in formal situation. Ne t'inquiète pas. Okay. Salut Julie, ça va? Je suis avec un homme dans l'appartement d'Arnaud. What does this mean?
Hello, Julie. I'm fine. I am with a man in the apartment of Arnold.
Oui, très bien. Un homme? Un man?
A man?
Oui, c'est une longue histoire. Viens à l'appartement, Julie. Tu es où? Translate?
Yes, it's a long story. Come to the apartment, Julie. Where are you?
Yes, this is come. Venir again. Okay. And this is not any conjugation. This is actually imperative. Order देने वाला sentence. We'll read this in later classes. मतलब बहुत दूर की बात है. We just know this is the order देने वाला French basically. Okay. Tu es où? Tu es où is where are you? Desika, can you start reading the next part?
J'ai parlé à maman ce matin. Elle m'a dit ce qui était arrivé. Arnaud et moi t'avons attendu toute la nuit. Nous sommes sortis pour le déjeuner. On rentre à l'appartement maintenant.
Très bien.
D'accord, on vous attend ici. Une demi-heure plus tard, Arnold et Julie entrent dans l'appartement. Salut Daniel, nous sommes si heureux de te voir,
Mhm.
me dit Arnold. Qui, qui êtes-vous?
Êtes-vous
Êtes-vous, ok. Qui êtes-vous? Dit Arnold au vieil homme.
vieil homme?
Vieil homme.
Oui, très bien.
Avant qu'il réponde, je lui dis Salut Arnaud, j'ai quelque chose d'important à te dire.
Très bien.
Qu'est-ce qu'il se passe?
Qu'est-ce qu'il se passe? Simply read
Qu'est-ce
this as qu'est-ce
qu'est-ce que-
qu'il.
qu'est-ce
Qu'est-ce.
qu'il se passe?
Très bien.
Arnaud, voici ton père.
Ok. Let's translate this. J'ai parlé à maman ce matin. J'ai parlé. Which tense is this?
Passé composé.
Passé composé. Très bien. J'ai parlé à maman ce matin. I
I
spoke to my
spoke to
mom
my mom in the morning.
in the morning for some time. ठीक, वो छोटा सा इवेंट था वो. Elle m'a dit que ce qui était arrivé. Ce qui était arrivé. She told me again. Ce qui était arrivé. Arrivé का मतलब होता है it's the same thing as this is nothing to do with arriving. It's the same thing as se passer. What is se passer? We've done this a lot of times. And we have an expression here as well. यहाँ पे. This is used here in this line. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qu'il se passe this way?
To happen.
To happen. And this arrivé is the same thing. ठीक है, बस यहाँ पे était arrivé, past में. Elle m'a dit ce qui était arrivé. This is actually a new tense. You will read this in the next two chapters. ठीक है, this is plus के parfait, the third past tense. So तुम पढ़ोगे tense. ठीक है, this is easy now. This you already know this. मतलब तुम्हें अगर अम्पार पे आता है, तुम्हें past participle बनाना आता है, you already know this tense. ठीक है, but ये जो है, what does this mean? Elle m'a dit ce qui était arrivé. Translated, please. She told me. Let me help you. उसके बाद ce qui était
That
arrivé.
you already know.
Arrived से लेना देना नहीं है इसका.
हाँ.
Just told you. Arrivé is se passer. The same thing. Se passer means you just told me, Aishwarya. It means to happen. तो ce qui était arrivé, क्या हुआ था उसने मेरे को बताया. ठीक है.
You tell me what happened. Like her mother told Julie what happened.
Exactly. ठीक है. क्यों उसकी मम्मा ने क्यों बताया? Remember? डैनियल ने किसको फोन किया था नीस में से स्टूडियो पे जाके?
Laundry.
लोंद्र मतलब लंदन फोन किया था क्योंकि उसको अपने मम्मा का घर का नंबर याद था. तो उसकी मम्मा को तो पता है, उसकी मम्मा के पास फोन है, जूली के पास फोन है, तो इन दोनों की बात हो गई बीच में से. दे टॉक टू ईच अदर एंड दे टोल्ड ईच अदर व्हाट हैज हैपेंड विद डैनियल. ठीक है. Arnaud et moi t'avons entendu toute la nuit. देखो, Arnaud et moi is nothing but nous. Nous avons entendu.
Anon and me
Avons entendu. What is the verb? Attendu.
attended.
No,
Attended.
it's attendre, yes, but it's not attended. Can someone correct this?
Waiting.
It's waiting. ठीक है? To wait. This is not to attend. This is a fosami. To wait. So we waited for you all the night. And Desika, this is toute la nuit. Okay? Eh bien. Then next sentence. Nous sommes sortis pour le déjeuner. Nous sommes sortis pour le déjeuner.
We
Aishwarya?
exited for the
Oui. Vas-y.
for
We
the
went
food.
out uh, for lunch.
Oui. Aishwarya, you have to tell me what tense is being used here and क्यों.
This is passive composé.
Oui, très bien. And passé composé में what is the peculiarity? क्या use किया हमने?
Som, être किया.
And what is the, so यहाँ पे verb कौन सा use हुआ है? Sorti. Yes.
Yes.
For IR verbs, how do we make the past tense? The past participle, sorry. It was simpler, right? बहुत simple था. How do we do it?
We remove the IR.
We remove the
The
IR.
R. Sorry.
The
We
R.
remove the R's.
ठीक है. So we get sorti, but यहाँ पे क्या लिखा हुआ है?
Sorty. S with an S.
Why is an S included?
Because we're talking about two people here.
We and they are.
They are Arnaud plus Julie.
Plus Julie. So what subject does this make?
Nu or
It's ILS.
yes, yeah.
ठीक है. और यहाँ पे nu with what is the gender? What is the gender? I actually wanted to ask you, what is the gender of this group?
Male.
Masculine.
Masculine.
Masculine, but is it plural or singular?
Plural.
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 So we will put an S, but we will not put an E. Hence, there is an extra S at the end. ये सारा राम का नहीं इसलिए था. ठीक है.
Oh,
Yes. Pour le déjeuner. आगे. Nous sommes sortis pour le déjeuner. We went out for déjeuner is what?
Lunch.
Lunch. Très bien. On rentre à l'appartement maintenant. On rentre.
now we are returning to the apartment now.
Très bien. Okay. Everybody clear? Okay. Next line. D'accord. On vous attend ici. Jessica, there's a liaison between vous attend.
Yeah.
ठीक है. On vous attend ici. Again, the same verb. We just did it.
All right. We are waiting here.
We are waiting here. ठीक है. Une demi-heure plus tard. अब ये सारी बात फोन पे हो रही थी. अब वो बोल रही है कि हम आ रहे हैं अभी अपार्टमेंट में. ओके. नॉट और सॉरी डैनियल और इसका पापा बोलते हैं हम तुम्हारी वेट कर रहे हैं. Une demi-heure plus tard. You guys remember हमने une demi पढ़ा था टाइम पढ़ते वक्त. What is demi?
Half.
Half.
30 minutes.
ठीक है. Half is demi-heure. ठीक है. तो half hour later or 30 minutes later, Arnaud et Julie entrent dans l'appartement. Easy?
Yes.
Salut Daniel, nous sommes si heureux de te voir. Me dit Arnaud. Salut Daniel, we are blah blah blah. Translate blah blah blah.
We are happy to see you.
We are si heureux. We are happy, but we are also si heureux. Not just happy, we are very happy. ठीक है. C is यहाँ पे very. It also is if, but यहाँ पे if नहीं है. ठीक है. Okay.
Very is three. Three, like for three.
Oui, you can use très as well, but people use C as well. ठीक है. Nous sommes très heureux de te revoir. You can use that as well. ठीक है. Qui êtes-vous? dit Arnaud au vieil homme. अब Arnaud बूढ़े अंकल से पूछता है. It's weird. He asks him what? Qui êtes-vous?
Who are you?
Who are you? Yes. ठीक है. Arnaud अपने पापा से ही पूछता है. Who are you? Avant qu'il réponde, désolé, je lui dis before he responds. So avant que is before. ठीक है. Je lui dis, I tell him, salut Arnaud, j'ai quelque chose d'important à te dire. So ये देखो एक चीज यहाँ पे सेंटेंस स्ट्रक्चर यूज किया ना ये quelque chose de plus an adjective. मैंने पहले भी पढ़ाया this means something plus adjective in English. ये the बीच में घुसाना पड़ता है बस हमें. अगर हमें बोलना है something important, तो we have to say quelque chose important. No, quelque chose d'important. D बीच में लगेगा. ठीक है. तो I have something important to say to you. ठीक है. What is the important thing? Qu'est-ce qu'il se passe? अब वो confuse हो गया. कौन? Arnaud. Qu'est-ce qu'il se passe? What is happening? क्या बताना है भाई तुम्हें मुझे? Arnaud, voici ton père. Arnaud, here is your father. Voici. मतलब voici and voila, both of them actually mean this here. I am presenting to you. ठीक है. तो voici ton père. Arnaud est très surpris. Aneshwara, you have to read this.
Which one?
Arnaud, désolé, यहाँ से. Arnaud est très surpris. यहाँ से start करो. We read it to the end.
Arnaud et très surprise. Mon père, c'est impossible. Le vieil homme lui parlait.
Mhm.
C'est toi, Arnaud? Oui, c'est moi. Vous ne pouvez pas être mon père. Je m'appelle Antoine Dupont. Si je suis ton père. Arnaud se rend compte. It's compte or comte.
Comte. This is
Compte. Okay,
Comte.
we don't pronounce the P.
We don't pronounce the P at all,
Hmm.
and we say
Comte.
M as N. Okay, तो
Okay,
Comte.
compte. Que ce vraiment son père, il le sort
Serre. Serre.
dans ses bras.
Oui.
Quelle joie!
Joie.
Joie. Quelle joie! Il se rencontrait enfin après tant d'années. Tous les,
Wrong. Okay. Continue.
tous les deux, ils ne sont pas sûrs de ce qu'il faut faire.
Oui, très bien.
Enfin, Arnaud sourit et dit, il faut fêter ça.
Oui.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord, dit son père Antoine. On va à la ratatouille folle, dit Julie. Je réponds, non, je ne veux pas de ratatouille et je ne veux ni aller au restaurant ni prendre les autobus. Je veux une pizza. Ils se mettent tout à rire et finalement moi aussi.
Oui.
Quelle histoire de fou, dis-je.
Déjà. Très bien. यहाँ पे let's. I think you guys understood. It's very simple. ठीक है. Arnaud est très surpris. Easy. What is he surprised about? वो बोलता है voici ton père. ये रहा तेरा पापा. ठीक है. वो सामने से क्या बोलता है? Mon père. C'est impossible. Aishwarya, this is impossible. Why?
Impossible.
We read
Because
these two rules. Yeah. Vowel and consonant. This is and this is e.
yes, impossible.
Impossible. Très bien. Le vieil homme lui parle. The old man speaks to him. C'est toi, Arnaud? वो भी उसको नहीं जानता है, वो उसको भी नहीं जानता है, तो दोनों एक दूसरे की आइडेंटिटी कंफर्म करना है. आर्नोट सामने खड़ा है, सब लोग उसको आर्नोट बोल रहे हैं, बट स्टिल ही हैज टू आस्क हिम, इट्स यू आर्नोट? ठीक है. अब ऑब्वियसली बोलेगा ही हाँ मैं आर्नोट हूँ. Oui, c'est moi. Vous ne pouvez pas être mon père. Vous ne pouvez pas être mon père. Hussein, what does this mean?
You are not my father.
Sort of, but what is this verb? Why did we put this here?
Pouvoir.
Pouvoir. You cannot be my father. ठीक है. ये बोल रहा है, you cannot be my father. It's weird. Je m'appelle Antoine Dupont. Dupont. Antoine Dupont. Si je suis ton père. यहाँ पे si इस सेंटेंस में तो 3 ट्रांसलेशन तुम्हें इसी उसमें मिल जाएंगे. सी के अभी तुमने देखा सी का क्या मतलब था? वेरी. अभी यहाँ पे सी का मतलब क्या है? सी je suis ton père. सी
Yes.
yes. ठीक है. यहाँ पे yes की तरह यूज हुआ है. Je m'appelle Antoine Dupont. Si yes I'm your father. ठीक है. अब आर्नोट को पता नहीं, उसने बस इतना सा बोला और उसको रियलाइज होगा कि yes he actually is my father. अगला सेंटेंस वही है. Arnaud se rend compte. Se rend compte, what is the expression? We read this. Se rendre compte. Yes. This means to realize something.
Yes.
Yes. Se rendre compte que c'est vraiment son père. C'est vraiment. What is vraiment? Translate this.
Really?
Really. Yes. It's really his father. You remember adverbs हमने सीखे थे MENT ly से convert करना है. Son père. Il le sert. I don't know what was the problem with sert, but it's I don't remember what he said. ठीक है. Il le serre dans ses bras. He hugs him in his arms. ठीक है. Il le serre. Serrer is to hold something like this. C'est serrer. अब वो ऐसे होल्ड करना है या किसी तरीके से होल्ड करना. It's यहाँ पे serrer dans les bras is actually meant to hug. इंग्लिश में एक छोटा सा वर्ड है, फ्रेंच में पूरा लिखना पड़ता है. Serrer dans ses bras. ठीक है. Quelle joie. What dash. What a joy. ठीक है. This means emotions पढ़े थे हमने. If you have seen the recording, emotions में we learn la joie, ठीक है? And what is the क्या बोलते हैं verb? नहीं, what is the adjective that we used to describe for joie? I am happy. Je suis.
Jolie.
Jolie means
No.
beautiful. Jolie means beautiful, ठीक है? I am Jolie. I'm like pretty. We generally don't use it up for ourselves, ठीक है? We get it as compliments if ever. But quelle joie is euro, ठीक है? जैसे euro मैं पढ़ा है बहुत बार. I'm happy.
Happy.
ठीक है? उसका ये noun form है basically, nominal form. Quelle joie, what happiness, what a joy, basically. Il se rencontre. This is not rencontrant. Why is it not rencontrant, Aishwarya?
Uh,
प्रेजेंट टेंस है उसमें.
Yes.
रिमेंबर आईएलएस के एंडिंग्स में से
Yes.
एनडी हटा के पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है? Il se rencontre enfant. Se rencontrer means for meeting for the first time, ठीक है? पहली बार अगर को मिलता है तो se rencontre. Enfin, finally वो लोग मिल गए. Après tant d'années. Tant d'années basically means a long time, a long years, a lot of years. Okay? Tous les deux, both of them, ils ne sont pas sûrs de ce qu'il faut faire. पहले ट्रांसलेट करते हैं, then at the last I will discuss this expression. Ils ne sont pas sûrs, they are not sure of what is to be done. इतने सालों बाद एक दूसरे को मिलके they are not sure what is to be done. Enfin, Arnaud Souli et dit, अब वो आइस ब्रेक कर रहा है, il faut fêter ça. It is necessary that we celebrate this. Yes, fêter, fêter. If you go to a party, it's called la fête. Okay? And the fact of celebration in French is called fête. We also say célébrer. Okay? But fête is a synonym. Aishwarya, you with us?
Yes, yes.
Je suis tout à fait d'accord. No, you don't. You say this word very weirdly, Aishwarya. You have to say this again now and correct it forever. Can you say this word?
The chord. No, the chords.
No. You say it as the core. If it were this, you would say it like this. The core. This is not the
Okay.
spelling. The spelling is d'accord. Okay.
The chord.
Très bien. So this is d'accord, and you don't say the D. Say the D at
Okay.
the end.
So it's
D'accord.
DA basically.
DA,
Da,
exactly.
yeah.
Yes. D'accord. Okay.
Yeah.
D'accord. Je suis d'accord, and you will encounter this a lot. So you will say d'accord. Okay. Dit son père, Antoine. Je suis tout à fait d'accord. I'm not just agreeing. I'm tout à fait agreeing. What is tout à fait agreeing?
Completely agree.
Yes, completely agree. Okay, I absolutely agree that is to be done. What is to be done? It needs to be celebrated. Yes. On va à la ratatouille folle, dit Julie. क्या बोलती है, हम कहाँ जाएंगे? La ratatouille.
That's very cool.
ठीक है, je réponds. Who's Arnold बोलता है शायद. Daniel बोलता है no, इसे ना वो pas de ratatouille. क्यों बोलता है ऐसा? इसे ना वो pas de ratatouille. हाँ?
जो सब हुआ उसके साथ उस हिसाब से.
Exactly, yes. उसके साथ काफी कुछ हुआ just because he wanted to eat la ratatouille, ठीक है? And je ne veux ni aller au restaurant ni prendre l'autobus. ना ही मेरे को किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाना है, ना ही मेरे को कोई बस पकड़नी है, ठीक है? Prendre l'autobus. Are you guys clear on this sentence? Prendre l'autobus. Je veux une pizza. I want a pizza. Ashwarya, anything? Doubts?
No.
Très bien. Ils se mettent tous à rire et finalement moi aussi. अब देखो यहाँ पे कौन सा expression नहीं होता है, se mettre. Remember हमने किया था, बहुत बार किया है
To start.
Yes, what does this mean? To
To
start.
start.
ठीक है, तो ils se mettent मतलब they started, blah blah blah. Tous, they started, all of them started. What? Ils se
Laughing.
mettent. Yes, the expression is ils se mettent à faire quelque chose. ठीक है? They started यहाँ पे faire is what? Rire. This faire is always used to say something, doesn't mean faire literally. ठीक है? Et finalement moi aussi. Finalement कैसे translate करोगे? Aishwarya, can you do it? I think Hussein knows it.
Finally,
Finally, yes. Hussein, you agree? Or do you Tutafe agree?
Tout à fait agree.
Right. Très bien. Je suis tout à fait. Aishwarya, what's the expression? Je suis tout à fait.
like
What's
really, truly.
but the last word? What is it? Tout à fait. Oh, agree. In French, the co. How do we say that word?
No, I didn't get it. What are you asking for?
What is the last word in this expression? Je suis tout à fait. Blah blah blah.
D'accord.
No, no, no.
Acha, d'accord.
D'accord. Okay. Yes. Quelle histoire de fou. What a crazy story. ठीक है, दीजिए. क्रेजी स्टोरी तो थी, ठीक है. So this is the first story and we end it. इससे पहले I just want to like one last expression. This is one very very important expression and you will actually use it in higher levels a lot of times. Il faut plus blah blah blah. And this verb is actually called falloir. This is a synonym sort of devoir. ठीक है. This means almost the same thing, to have to do something, to must do something. But it's actually used very, very commonly. But यहाँ पे the only difference is il faut faire में जो il है, it doesn't mean someone. What is the use case of il here? ये किस form में use हुआ है?
It is, I guess.
It is necessary. ठीक है, it is necessary में are we pointing fingers and who needs to do something? No. ठीक है.
No.
तो इट्स एन इम्पर्सनल एक्सप्रेशन. इम्पर्सनल एक्सप्रेशन याद रखना हमेशा वो होते हैं जिसमें वी आर नॉट रेफरिंग टू एनी सब्जेक्ट. तो il faut faire quelque chose. This is the complete expression. Il faut faire quelque chose. And this faire again can be anything. Il faut danser, for example. Il faut fêter. Il faut plus infinitive verb is what you need to put. Il faut manger quelque chose, for example. ठीक है? Yes.
Il faut manger.
Il faut manger भी
Like
हो सकता है.
I had something to eat.
नहीं
No,
नहीं
it
ये
is necessary that you eat.
exactly.
Oh,
अगर for example your mom is saying सुबह से भूखा है, il faut manger. ठीक है? It is necessary
okay.
to eat. Just like that. ठीक है? Il faut plus an infinitive. Infinitive. Il faut choisir. It's necessary that we choose it. You must choose. Someone must choose. For
It's the
example,
same as the weather one. We use the il faut chaud, il faut
it's
froid.
what is the second word in that? Is it faux? You are very right in having this doubt. That's a very valid doubt, but it's not faux.
Il fait.
It's fait. Yes, il fait
Okay.
chaud. ठीक है? And il fait is fair. यहाँ पे is this falloir. The easy thing about falloir is कि इसके कोई भी je to ये सब conjugation exist ही नहीं करते हैं, सिर्फ il के साथ exist करता है. Present tense में it's called faux. हम इसके बाकी फॉर्म भी देखेंगे, पास्ट और फ्यूचर वाले, ठीक है, बाद में. But il faut is what I want you to remember. Il faut faire quelque chose means it's necessary that we do it. जैसे for example, I'll give you one more example जो हम थोड़े इस पे लिखते हैं. मैंने लिखी पहले. Il faut sauver la planète. देखो ऐसी चीजें बाद में आनी शुरू हो जाएंगी जब हम B2 लेवल पे, B1 B2 लेवल पे पहुंचेंगे, तो ऐसी चीजें आनी शुरू हो जाएंगी. Il faut sauver la planète.
It is necessary to save the planet.
Save the planet. ठीक है. अब ये ऐसी, it doesn't mean कि मुझे सेव करना है, तुम्हें सेव करना है. In general हम सबको सेव करना है. Yes. तो il faut plus infinitive is what you need to learn. So with this we end the story. इसके बाद let me just share my screen. We'll start to, ज़्यादा नहीं डिस्कस करूँगा अभी कुछ भी. Okay. Ended the class, but just want to give you a taste of what is next. What screen are you guys seeing?
Direction.
इसमें से इस वाले. So next we're gonna start reading about France. देखो हम लैंग्वेज से पढ़ रहे हैं, कौन सी लैंग्वेज है? फ्रेंच. ठीक है. सॉरी. So हम फ्रांस के बारे में पढ़ेंगे and we have to actually read about the geography of France. And why do I need to learn about the geography of France? तुम बोलोगे यार मैं तो लैंग्वेज सीख रहा हूँ सिर्फ, तुम ज्योग्राफी पढ़ाने लगे. क्यों भाई?
क्योंकि पता होना चाहिए।
क्योंकि पता होना चाहिए सब रिपोर्ट। यस, ठीक है। तो प्रॉब्लम क्या होती है ना, कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम आती है तुम्हें? एक तो लिखे में जब तुम्हें बीच में वर्ड आ जाते हैं ना, रू एन जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल लिखा हुआ आ गया, अब तुम सोचने लग जाओगे क्या ये कोई फ्रेंच वर्ड है, इसका मतलब मुझे नहीं पता है। ठीक है, तो प्रॉपर नाउन्स के साथ प्रॉब्लम ये होती है, ये ऑडियोज में और लिखित में एज इन लिखे हुए दे कम अप वेरी ऑफ्टन, एंड वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई देम। इफ वी डोंट नो द साउंड्स ऑफ दीज वर्ड्स, we will actually take them for a verb or a word that we actually don't know, and we will miss the entire thing. सब निकल जाएगा हमारे दिमाग से, लिसनिंग समझ में नहीं आएगी। ठीक है, एंड इट्स मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इन लिसनिंग देन रीडिंग। रीडिंग में तुम्हें फिर भी समझ में आ जाएगा, मोस्ट लाइकली दिस इज अ सिटी दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट और अ रिवर दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट। Right now, this river is in news, and you should know why it is in news. I have a very interesting presentation made for this for my class, but I will maybe share it later. But this river is in news. Does anyone know why? There's an event happening in Paris, in France, right now.
Health minister swim in this river
Yes. So why did they do that?
to make sure that it's safe for drinking water and safe for swimming and everything.
Yes,
Like it was
and
very dirty before, now it is very
exactly.
clean.
यस, सो द प्रॉब्लम वाज कि इसमें पेरिस और आसपास के रीजन्स के जो एक्सक्रीटा होता है, ह्यूमन एक्सक्रीटा, दैट वाज बीइंग डंप्ड इन दिस रिवर। ठीक है, तो पेरिस ने 30 साल पहले ये गोल लिया था कि हमें उस रिवर को क्लीन करना है, जस्ट लाइक वी हैव डिल्यूजनल गोल इन इंडिया टू क्लीन द गंगा। he did the same in Paris, and they have actually managed to do it. And just to prove it that it's clean, the mayor of Paris, who's a lady, she actually went in and dipped herself. Or basically, she swam in the river. इसका एक और इम्पोर्टेंस है that this river, why is this being done right now? पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ और बाद में क्यों नहीं हुआ? There are
Election.
नहीं, that's
Nahi, there's something happening in France, right?
what is it?
Oh, Paris
Not just
Olympics.
something, not just
Yeah.
something. Yes, there are Paris Olympics happening.
Yes.
Olympics में there is a event which is called triathlon. Triathlon, do you understand what is a triathlon? You guys,
Yes.
marathon.
जिसमें swimming होती है, cycling होती है, and there's the last one is the running.
Exactly. तो ये तीन उसका मिक्सचर है. So a player has to run, swim and cycle to win the race, पूरा race. ठीक है, तो वो ट्रायथलॉन का एक पार्ट इज the goal was
Swimming in the river.
swimming in the Seine river. So just to prove
Hmm.
that it is safe for the players to swim in the river, she actually took a dip. And it's of course a political move as well. ठीक है, तो just to learn these kind of things, we're gonna start to learn these kind of geographies things. एक तो ये चीजें करेंगे, and then this will be a cauchemar for you. What is cauchemar? This will be a nightmare for you to see right now. You're gonna start reading newspapers. ठीक है, जब बोलोगे भाई सीधा स्टोरी से न्यूज़पेपर, हमसे ना हो पाएगा, नहीं हो पाएगा। ठीक है, इट्स इजी, इट इज अन टफ। अगर तुम ऐसे 20 आर्टिकल्स पढ़ लोगे मेरे साथ, आई एम श्योर यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इफ नॉट एवरीथिंग, 50% of any random article in French. Yes.
Hussein is like, मैं इस नोट start करूँगा.
ठीक है, तो हम थोड़ी थोड़ी ऐसी इजी वाले आर्टिकल्स आई ट्राई टू पिक, बट आई ट्राई टू पिक डाइवर्स सब्जेक्ट्स एज वेल, बिकॉज हमें बहुत सारी वोकैबुलरी लर्न करनी है। फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे एसिड फ्लोरोइड्रिक की बात हो रही है। फ्लोरोहाइड्रिक एसिड तुम लाइफ में कहाँ ही यूज करोगे, राइट? और तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए कैसे लिखते हैं उसको फ्रेंच में। तो यस, दैट्स इट, बस यही बोलना था मेरे को आज के लिए। आगे का जो है डरना मत, बट यस आई विल ट्राई। आई एम नॉट रियली श्योर नेक्स्ट हफ्ते का, आई विल ट्राई टू टेक अ ब्रेक। आई गिव यू गाइस सम टाइम, टेक दिस टाइम एंड यूज दिस फॉर रिवीजन, चैप्टर 1 to 8। ठीक है, रिवाइज करो, इसके बाद विल स्टार्ट डूइंग फ्यूचर टेंस, उसके बाद विल स्टार्ट मूविंग इनटू कॉम्प्लिकेटेड थिंग्स इन फ्रेंच जो थोड़ी सी एडवांस्ड है। ये जो बेसिक चीजें हैं, अप टू द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर, जो अगला चैप्टर होगा उस तक you have to be like 100% mastery। जो imperfect tense है, मतलब एटलीस्ट 1 to 8 चैप्टर जो है ना, वो बहुत यूज होते हैं अगले वाले टेंसेस में। ठीक है, यू हैव टू मास्टर दोस। ट्राई करो, जो ग्रामर बुक है उसकी एक्सरसाइजेस खत्म कर लो फ्रॉम चैप्टर 1 to 8। वी हैव 2 weeks ऑलमोस्ट till we start the next thing। I will let you know within the week if we are having the next class or not, on the next weekend। ठीक है, the plan is we will not, but I will let you know। ठीक है, any doubts so far? कोई queries, कोई
No.
दुख दर्द? Okay, है भैया। All right. Then with this, I think we should end the class. And merci beaucoup. Et au revoir.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Merci.
Très bien. Merci. Au revoir.